Hello, everyone. Happy Friday.
Hello,
Though it's
everybody.
very cold outside, here it's very warm somehow inside. That's
Not the
what they're
same today.
doing. So I'm Dana from Big.Consulting.
And I'm Bridget from Shift One Degree.
Yes, and today's topic is how to control the emotions. It's a very
Yeah,
interesting topic, and I think like a lot of us probably experiencing a lot of different emotions during this lockdown and during the coronavirus, and we're not really sure how to deal with this and how to control it. So we're going to start with some tips.
also something that I think is very relevant is whatever, and we were kind of touching base on this before we started, is I think whatever you are feeling, whatever's coming up for you over this time is exactly what you need to face and what you need to deal with and what you need to work through. Or however you choose to do that, that's your choice. But whatever is sitting uneasy with you, it's something that you obviously need to work through and you need to fix or sort or do something with, So I think that's been so powerful about lockdown is it's really highlighted an area of your life where you're going, okay, this isn't quite working for me. What do I need to do to make it better?
Yeah, so if we're going to start with the first tip on how to control your emotions is don't react straight away. We all have the tendency that like when something happens, we want to say immediately what we're saying. No,
Mm-hmm.
stop for a second, reflect, understand. A lot of the time, if we think about it, I can say about myself that sometimes I want to text someone and I'm so upset. Like I just text it to myself and I'm not even sending because most of the time, if I'll check it after a few hours, I will understand that I was overreacting. So a lot of the time we are overreacting on stuff. We are, just pushing ourselves out there, and it's not necessarily the right thing. So don't react straight away. Wait a second.
Yeah, you could even, I mean, I've never done this, but people do talk about doing this. You could even, if you're very angry with somebody, you could even write a letter or write, maybe not an email because you might send it by mistake, but write a letter. And then, when you've calmed down, you realize it was actually completely like very, very dramatic. And then you can actually throw it away, but you can just get rid of all that stuff that you're feeling. So, because invariably when you wait, you take a deep breath and you just, I don't know, meditate or whatever you choose to do and you get a bit calmer, you realize it really wasn't such a big thing anyway. Probably your ego is in play and you could just breathe and you will calm. Yeah.
Also,
And
it will allow you to understand the other side and their point of view, and to understand what's the right approach for you to come to that person. Because a lot
yeah.
of times we are reacting straight away. We are not even noticing that we actually maybe even not communicating the right way with the other person, and then we're going to actually cause more damage. So stop for a second.
Yeah, actually, something that's really come into my mind with that is working with, say, yes, and matching mentors and mentees together. So, you've got your mentor or who's somebody very similar to us, to just an age group, men and women, whatever. And then you've got your mentee who comes from a disadvantaged background, who might be in Kailicha or in some sort of township, but generally they are coming from a kind of disadvantaged place. So therefore, when I do a matching with them and you're matching the mentor and the mentee, you set up a day, you set up a time, and suddenly you can't get hold of the mentee. And, if you can feel yourself getting annoyed, you go, whoa, just like think about the whole situation here. You don't know the situation. Have they got data? What's going on in their lives? Like just not to be reactive. So I'm tested with that a lot. And it is to be just mindful before you react is important. So the next one is to have a healthy outlet. For myself, it's exercise. What is yours?
So for me, it's also the yoga, and now finally to do some walk. So yeah, it's just a place to kind of escape, clear your mind, clear your thoughts. A lot of time, like people, you do different type of activities like sport or meditation, just to get their mind in the right place, and how to control it. And it's okay to, we all have different type of feelings, but like if you're acknowledging it and you're accepting this, and then you're learning how to deal with this, it's part of it.
Yeah, I also love, love, love. I've got a little bit of a thing where I listen to podcasts. So like I'll have a bath, and while I'm in the bath, I'm listening to a podcast, and I find podcasts are amazing because it just helps you to get out of your head and think slightly differently and just be more open and accepting of other people.
So there's a question here on how. So I'm not sure exactly on how and what, but I can say, and I'll give it from my example, that yesterday was a holiday for me, and being far away from my family and friends, it's so hard. So I did had like a kind of breakdown, and I let the feelings come in, and I was allowing them to be here and just sinking into them, like accepting them. But I gave it a time of like an hour and two, and then I got up and I decided that's it. I got it. Now thanks. Now I'm moving on. And I've done my yoga and I've done stuff like this. And I was chatting to a friend, just getting my mind in the right direction. So everyone's got their own way of dealing with the emotions. But it's really important, if I'll go back, like, you're going to give you now the different tips, but don't just rush into things. A lot of time we're trying to run away from the feelings. So don't run away from them. If you're going to run away, they're going to still stay inside, and it's going to build in, and it's going to explode at one point. So just accept it.
Yeah, I think another thing for me that ties in with, even if you have a healthy outlet and you find something like meditation or running or yoga, whatever you choose to do, a big thing for me is don't give a story to it. Say you phone somebody and you message somebody and they don't message you back, and you're like, what's wrong with that? And don't create a story around something. Just do whatever it is you're doing, or say whatever you need to say, but don't dramatize it. That for me is.
So it actually links to the third tip, is that see the bigger picture. Because a lot of time we're getting into a certain point that we get into a small place, and this is the only thing we see. But look at the bigger picture. There's a lot of good and positive stuff around what's happening. There's a lot of there's a reason why they call it growing pains, right? So from every emotion, every fall down, you're just gonna grow from it. So really try to aim and see, okay, why? And a lot of times things happen in our life, and we cannot understand why did it happen. Even the coronavirus. But if we actually really honest with ourselves, for a lot of us, if not for everyone, it's a great opportunity to deal with ourselves and to keep on growing. So yes, it's not easy. Not everyone can be happy and smiling all the time. And we actually spoke about it on Tuesday, because we both had a very kind of emotional week, but it's fine. Like we sharing it, we saying it. So if you guys feeling the same, that it's not an easy time for you, share with us. If you have different tips on how you are controlling your emotion, just let us know. There's the nice thing about the social media platforms, that today we can share with each other. We can help each other, and just say it as a growing pains.
Yeah, I think for me, a big thing that I actually think about is, when you think about the bigger picture, is you're thinking about, if you're always going to be, so Eckhart Tolle talks about this a lot, about being in the present moment. And he always says, like, if you're being present, you never have anger, frustration, irritation generally, because in the present moment, like right now, you and I are talking to each other about things that we value and we feel important and we want to share with other people. That's what we're doing. That's all that we're doing. Everything that's happened an hour ago or is going to happen in the future is irrelevant. So being present.
Either way, you don't know what's going to happen in a minute from now or tomorrow morning, and no one promised you anything. So,
Yeah. And the next one is to replace your negative with positive. And I'm what I mean by that, or what we mean by that, is not about, don't be unrealistic. I'm not saying that everything is wonderful and it's great and let's all go and hug trees and just love the world. And I'm not saying that. But there's definitely different ways of looking at things. When things happen, you really can look at it and just go, okay, so what can I learn from that? And how can I do better in the future? Because it's a learning lesson. That's all you can do, right?
And I agree. And I always keep repeating the same formula, but it is event plus reaction equal to the outcome. So when something happens, try to look at the positive side of things and see how you can take it and grow from this and take it to the next level. Because it's very easy to look at the negative side and to be sarcastic and pessimistic. Like, it's very easy to go this way. But why? Like, I'm looking at myself and the day I had yesterday with all the emotions of being far from my family in a holiday, is that I said, okay, but I can still chat with them on a video chat and stuff like this. And had a friend that said, like, come be with us. Like, you never really, like, there's a lot of different solutions. So you look at the positive, and then the moment you change your mindset, the positive actually start to come to you. You're attracting this. So try not to get stuck for too long in the negative. because the negative not gonna help you. So let's say even, for example, if you lost your job, if you're going to be negative and grumpy all the time and sit at home, that's not going to help you to have a job now, to find a job. But if you're going to stay positive and you're going to change your mindset and you're going to work on it and say, like, I deserve to find something, I will find something, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this, and you're aiming your energies over there, at one point you will attract it and you're going to get it to yourself.
Well, you'll be in action of making it happen. You won't sit and be a victim. You'll make it happen. That'll be the difference, I think. Yeah.
It is. The next one is actually on how to control your emotion, is that just a lot of times just forgive and detach. If you're holding for something for so long, it's just going to make you bitter from the inside. It's just going to make you grumpy. You're not going to be pleasant to the person you had a fight with, to yourself. Just learn to forgive and move on. What happened, happened.
And a big thing with that is also when something happens, when you feel somebody's wronged you or they've done something to you, just to know that I really, really, really believe, and I've spoken about this in many different podcasts, is that I don't believe people wake up in the morning going, okay, how can I be a horrible person? How can I hurt these people? How can I do that? Nobody does. So when you hurt somebody else or you do something that they feel that you've wronged them, it was not intentional. It was a mistake. So it's also understanding that we're all human and we're just trying our best. And yeah, given a different time, if they'd had the tools and they'd known better, they would have done better.
It is, and and it links again, the forgive and detach links also the don't react straight away. So like you said, it's not that people are doing something in order to hurt you. They're doing something because this is how they know to react. This is how they know to do things. And it's not necessarily the same way as you would have done it. But if you stop for a second and you're not reacting straight away and you're understanding the other side, you will understand it was not even about you. That it was just something that this is how they dealt with. And I actually going to take it from a different side, from sort of relationship. Because a lot of time people forget that we all come with a baggage from the past.
Yeah.
And we are coming from different perceptions, different point of views, different personalities. But if we actually stop for a second and understand the other person's point of view, it's going to make your communication with them better. You will understand the situation better, and you will learn how even to control your emotions around the situation in a better way, because you can understand the other side and you can say that it's nothing about you. It's because you said something or you've done something that sits on a certain point in their life that brought it all up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just learn to forgive and detach and just move it on, Don't let it come inside in you, because that's going to make your emotions like a storm inside, and it will burst at one point. And that's the worst. And that's why I think like it's very important to give you all these tips on how to control your emotions, because you don't want to get to that place that everything like stirring inside and like bubbling and then like it's just exploding, because it will expose the wrong person.
Or that you say or do things that you regret that didn't need to be done or said. And sometimes by just kind of standing back a bit and looking at the bigger picture and just taking a bit of time, you can see things differently, because life is short. So don't do things that you're going to regret, that you can't maybe fix.
Exactly. So if you're gonna sum it all up, so first of all, on how to control your emotions, don't react straight away. Don't.
Find a healthy outlet.
See the bigger picture. Always look at the bigger picture. Don't just be pity and look at the small stuff. Try to see the bigger one.
And always look at the positive.
And just forgive and detach. Which is very difficult, by the way, for a lot of people to forgive and detach. But that's why I think like I always try to see the other person's point of view. And I think that's what helps me to really forgive and move on. What helps you?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, for me, that's very, to a point, it's I actually was speaking to somebody about it yesterday. And I mean, it's probably maybe a bit to a point of a fault of mine, because I'm actually incredibly, you could pretty much do anything to me. And I'm going to forgive you pretty quickly. And I think the main reason for me is that it doesn't serve me, it's only going to hurt me. It's not going to hurt you. And what's the point? Because I know deep down people don't mean to do some of the things that they do. So for me to detach, to forgive and let go, it's pretty easy for me. I don't have a problem to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have a recommendation here. The Four Agreements is a great book to read, especially
Yes.
not to make assumptions, to take things personally, which are often the cause of unhappiness. And you know what, Nikki, it's so right when you say it, because this is what people don't get. A lot of time we think what other people are doing, even in business and in relationships or with family, we take it on ourselves that we've done something wrong, that we were the wrong person in that story. And then most of the time, it's not even us. It's just maybe something that we've done that triggered something in that other person. Even like with a client, that's why I always say, make sure that you define your target audience the right way. Because if you're defining them the right way, you will be able to communicate with them in the right way. And then you're going to prevent as much as possible those situations of the lack of communication, because they will understand you. You will understand each other. But if you're aiming to the wrong target audience, they will expect X and you will do Y, and then it's gonna just explode
also,
and it's gonna destroy your brand.
yeah, I think, but also we don't generally, people that are so different to us. Well, I'm doing a podcast a bit later on this morning or this afternoon around values. And I think it kind of ties into the same thing, because I think if your values are the same and you're like-minded, you're going to stay on the journey together. I think if you're so far removed from each other, it's the relationship's too, whatever the dynamic, the relationship's too hard. It's not going to work, because it's just, you're too different. It's just too much work, you know?
And by the way, sharing the same values is part of how you gain your clients' trust. And that's part of how you build a strong brand. This is one of the steps on how you build a strong brand. You gain their trust. And by that, part of it is just to have share the same values, because people want to know who you are. They want to understand you, what's behind you. So it's even okay to even be a bit of emotional and share your emotional side when you're building a brand. Again, it's depend on the branding side of it and the story behind it, but it's not a bad thing to share it. You know, people are looking to be inspired by others. So if you can share your story and get people the motivation of like, oh, I also want to do it. If you share your emotions, that's also a way to heal yourself and teach yourself how to control it. But you will inspire others to do it as well and share their stories and take it to a different level and say like, oh wow, if he done it, I can do it as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we will be back on Tuesday. And we're talking about mindset, because I think it all kind of ties in. So that's going to be our topic, is mindset on Tuesday. And have an awesome weekend, everybody.
Enjoy the weekend.
Bye.
Bye.